quiet strength hides the fiercest power. Meet the trauma-born loners who survive, endure, and transform in silence. Welcome to Silver Narratives. Today, we are going to talk about a type of person you have probably seen many times, but maybe never truly understood. Let me ask you something. Have you ever met someone who speaks very little, but when they finally speak, everyone listens? Have you noticed a person who does not try to get attention, yet their presence feels powerful, almost intense? They are not loud. They are not dramatic. They do not try to impress anyone. Still, there is something deep about them. Something strong. Today, we are talking about trauma-born loners. And you should be careful with them. Not because they are bad people. Not because they want to hurt anyone. But because they have survived deep emotional pain, and that experience has changed them forever. When someone survives pain alone, they become different. They become more aware. More observant. Strong in a quiet way. If you underestimate them, you may be surprised by their strength. So stay with me until the end, because you might discover that you are either afraid of this person, or you are one of them. No one is born wanting to be alone. A child does not come into the world with emotional walls. Children are open and free. They laugh easily. They trust easily. They love without fear. When they feel happy, they show it. When they feel sad, they cry openly. They do not hide their emotions because they do not know that emotions can be used against them. In the beginning, every heart is soft. Every mind is hopeful. Every soul wants connection. But somewhere between childhood and adulthood, something changes. Maybe they trusted someone and were betrayed. Maybe they shared their feelings and someone laughed at them. Maybe they tried to explain their pain and were told they were too sensitive. Maybe they were ignored when they needed comfort the most. Sometimes the worst loneliness is not being physically alone. It is feeling invisible while people are sitting right next to you. Pain teaches quickly. It does not ask for permission. It arrives suddenly and leaves a deep mark. Trauma teaches even more. It changes how you see the world. It changes how you trust others. It changes how you express yourself. A trauma-born loner did not suddenly decide to isolate themselves. It was not one big decision. It was a slow change, a quiet way to protect themselves. They learned that silence can feel safer than speaking, because speaking once caused problems. They learned that depending on others can be risky, because someone once disappointed them. They discovered that being alone can hurt less than expecting too much and being let down. So they lowered their expectations. Not because they stopped caring, but because caring deeply once caused deep pain. Slowly, without making an announcement, they changed. They stopped expecting people to understand them. They stopped explaining themselves to those who never really listened. They stopped chasing attention, affection, and approval. And in that quiet transformation, they became stronger than most people realize. They slowly became observers instead of active participants. Before speaking, they began to think carefully. Before trusting, they started to measure the emotional risk. They learned to protect their inner peace the same way many people protect their public image. From the outside, it did not look impressive. Some people called them antisocial. Others said they were cold or distant. Some believed they had an attitude. The world often misunderstands quiet strength because the world usually respects noise. It celebrates people who are loud, expressive, and confident in visible ways. But true strength does not always need to be seen or heard. While others believed they were becoming smaller, they were actually becoming stronger. While people thought they were isolating themselves, they were rebuilding from the inside. When you face emotional pain alone, without support, without praise, without anyone celebrating your survival, you develop something powerful. You learn how to sit with discomfort instead of running from it. You learn how to calm your own emotional storms. You learn how to wipe your own tears and still wake up the next day ready to continue. In that quiet process, you build emotional endurance. Emotional endurance is not dramatic or glamorous. It does not look exciting on social media. But it is one of the rarest strengths a person can develop. It means you can feel deeply without breaking forever. It means you can experience disappointment without becoming bitter. It means you can be alone without feeling worthless. And once you develop this endurance, everything changes. When you realize you can survive on your own, fear loses its control over you. When you understand that you can handle pain, you stop begging others to treat you gently. You still value respect, but your survival no longer depends on it. That is the real transformation. That is the quiet power built in silence. They were not born this way. Life shaped them. Pain sharpened them. Silence strengthened them. What looked like withdrawal was actually preparation. Now let us move to the next part, how silence built their mind. When someone experiences trauma alone, their mind begins to change in unusual ways. While others are busy reacting, expressing emotions, and seeking comfort, they are quietly adapting. They begin observing, not in a dramatic way, but in a constant, calm way. They watch people closely. They listen more than they speak. They notice small details that most people ignore, a slight change in someone's voice, a pause before answering, a smile that does not reach the eyes. Over time, they become very good at reading people. They can sense fake smiles quickly. They understand body language almost naturally. They feel tension in a room before anyone says anything. This happens because survival required awareness. When someone grows up in emotional chaos, their mind cannot fully relax. It becomes alert. It listens carefully. It studies expressions. It tries to predict what might happen next. This is not simply overthinking. It is adaptation. When peace feels uncertain, awareness becomes protection. When love feels inconsistent, attention becomes armor. Because of this, they learn to read a room very quickly. They can walk into a space and immediately feel the atmosphere. They sense when someone is uncomfortable. They notice when someone is pretending. They recognize hidden tension behind polite words. They focus more on patterns than on promises. They believe actions more than speeches. And this is why trauma-born loners can sometimes feel intimidating to others. Not because they are aggressive, but because they see more than they say. It is not that they want to control anyone. It is not that they try to dominate a room. The difference is simple: they notice what others overlook. They see contradictions. They recognize when actions do not match words. While some people are distracted by charm and sweet talk, they are quietly studying behavior. While others react quickly with emotion, they step back and observe. This does not mean they do not feel. In fact, they feel very deeply. But they do not react immediately. They pause. They process. They think before they respond. Life has trained their mind to slow down before speaking or acting. And in a world where many people react instantly, that pause feels powerful. It makes them difficult to manipulate. Emotional pressure does not easily control them. Guilt does not trap them. Flattery does not impress them for long. They have experienced too much to be fooled by surface-level behavior. Mixed signals do not confuse them because they look at patterns, not promises. Noise does not distract them because they are comfortable with silence. And when someone realizes they cannot control you, that realization often makes them uncomfortable. Control is not always loud or obvious. Sometimes it hides behind charm. Sometimes it hides behind kindness that expects something in return. Sometimes it appears as emotional games. But trauma-born loners recognize these patterns quickly. They have already felt the consequences of blind trust. They have already experienced emotional instability. So when they sense even a small warning sign, they adjust. They step back. They create space. Not in a dramatic way, but in a clear and calm way. Because of this, they are often misunderstood. Some people call them cold because they do not share everything about themselves. Some call them arrogant because they do not seek constant approval. Others think they are too quiet because they are comfortable with silence. But the truth is much simpler. They are careful. Their silence is not emptiness, it is awareness. Their calm nature is not weakness, it is control. Their distance is not hate, it is protection. They have already paid the price for ignoring their instincts, so now they respect those instincts. Silence trained their mind. It taught them to observe before trusting, to analyze before committing, and to understand before reacting. Their quiet personality is not fear. It is intelligence shaped by experience. They are not cold. They are cautious. And that caution was earned. Now let us talk about another powerful trait: they are not afraid to walk away. In a world where many relationships are controlled by fear, fear of rejection, fear of abandonment, fear of being alone, this mindset is rare. Many people stay in situations that hurt them because they are afraid of losing someone. But trauma-born loners think differently. They have already experienced emotional loss. They have already cried alone at night without anyone knowing. They have already felt the pain of rejection and the loneliness of being unseen. They have already hoped for comfort and received silence instead. Those experiences change a person. They force someone to face loneliness directly, to sit with it, breathe through it, and survive it. So when someone threatens to leave, it does not create panic. It may hurt. It may disappoint them. But it does not destroy them. They do not beg. They do not chase. They do not collapse. Why? Because they already know they can survive on their own. They have already proven to themselves that their strength does not depend on one person's presence. And that knowledge quietly changes every relationship they enter. When you are not afraid to lose someone, your decisions come from self-respect instead of fear. When you are not afraid to lose someone, you cannot be easily controlled. You do not accept disrespect just to keep a person close. You do not tolerate manipulation just to avoid being alone. You do not hide your truth just to create temporary peace. This kind of emotional independence creates a special type of strength. It is not loud. It is not aggressive. It is calm, steady, and grounded. Many people remain in unhealthy relationships because they are afraid of loneliness. They stay where they are not appreciated. They stay where they are misunderstood. They stay where their boundaries are ignored. Why? Because being alone feels more frightening than the pain they already know. So they slowly sacrifice their dignity. They make themselves smaller. They accept behavior that quietly damages their confidence. But trauma-born loners already know loneliness. They have experienced it deeply. They have eaten meals alone. They have sat in silent rooms with nothing but their thoughts. They have faced empty spaces and survived them. Over time, loneliness stopped feeling like an enemy and started feeling familiar. Not always comfortable, but manageable. They learned to enjoy their own company. They understood that being alone does not mean being worthless. So when respect disappears, they leave quietly. There is no dramatic scene. No shouting. No emotional explosion. They do not need chaos to prove their value. They simply create distance. They reduce communication. They withdraw their time and energy, and they do it calmly. That calm exit often surprises people. Sometimes it hurts more than anger. When people argue, it usually means they still care deeply. There is still emotion and hope. But when a trauma-born loner walks away, the decision has already been made internally. They have thought about it carefully. They have given silent chances. They have processed the pain in private. By the time they leave, they have already accepted the loss in their heart. And when they go completely. They do not return just because someone suddenly feels their absence. They do not reopen doors that were closed because of repeated disrespect. Their absence becomes permanent, and that permanence carries power. It is not that they do not care. It is that they value self-respect more than attachment. They value peace more than approval. They value emotional safety more than forced connection. They do not fear walking away because they have already learned the hardest lesson: they can survive alone. And once a person truly understands that, they become very difficult to control. Now let us move to another important point: they turned pain into discipline. Some people allow trauma to define their entire life. They use it as a reason to stop trying, to blame others, or to give up. Trauma-born loners choose a different path. They do not let pain destroy them. Instead, they use it as fuel. Every betrayal, every disappointment, every lonely night becomes motivation to grow. They build themselves quietly. They do not look for applause or sympathy. While others react emotionally to life, they prepare for it. They improve themselves in silence. They strengthen their mind and body without announcing it to the world. They learn new skills. They work on their weaknesses. They expand their knowledge. They read, reflect, and study human behavior. They think deeply about their past experiences, trying to understand patterns and avoid repeating mistakes. While many people value attention and noise, they value consistency. While others are complaining, they are adapting. While others are searching for validation, trauma-born loners have accepted a powerful truth: no one is coming to rescue you. No one will fix your life for you. No one will carry your pain. This realization, learned during difficult times, creates strong independence. Not a superficial confidence, but one that is deeply rooted. They do not depend on constant approval. They do not ask for permission to grow. Their confidence is quiet but steady. It comes from surviving what once tried to break them, and choosing to rise anyway. They do not need applause to feel proud of themselves. They do not wait for encouragement to keep moving forward. They trust their own judgment. They listen to their inner voice. And that self-trust is powerful. A person who does not depend emotionally on the crowd cannot be easily influenced or controlled by it. They move according to their own values, their own goals, and their own timing. Their independence becomes both protection and strength. This is why trauma-born loners often surprise people later in life. For a long time, they may remain quiet and unnoticed. Some people may underestimate them. They may appear ordinary or unremarkable. Others might ignore their potential. But while the world is distracted, they are building. Every small effort, every disciplined habit, every quiet improvement adds up. They are preparing for future challenges and opportunities that others do not even see. Then one day, the change becomes visible. The quiet person who was once overlooked steps forward with confidence. Suddenly, they handle pressure calmly. Suddenly, they make strong decisions without fear. Suddenly, they achieve success. Their progress is not loud or flashy. It is steady and unstoppable. It is built on discipline developed in silence and strengthened by pain. The real power of trauma-born loners is this: while others waste energy complaining or seeking validation, they transform their suffering into growth. They design their lives carefully, like quiet architects building something strong and lasting. By the time the world notices, they are already independent and stable. Pain did not destroy them. It educated them. It fueled their discipline. And that discipline turned their struggles into quiet strength. While others were distracted, they were preparing. That is why trauma-born loners are never truly ordinary. They are resilient, focused, and difficult to break. Now let us talk about another important truth: they feel deeply, but they show their feelings selectively. Do not confuse silence with emptiness. Trauma-born loners are often deeply emotional people. Their feelings are not shallow. They are intense and complex. They notice small changes in tone, behavior, and relationships. They experience joy, disappointment, and connection on a deep level. However, they do not show these emotions to everyone. They have learned that being open without caution can lead to pain. They understand that not everyone deserves full access to their heart. In the past, they may have trusted too quickly and experienced betrayal or rejection. They may have shared their inner thoughts with someone who did not value them. That experience taught them to be selective. They choose their words carefully. They invest their energy wisely. They give trust slowly. When a trauma-born loner opens up to you, it is meaningful. It is not casual. It means they have observed you, understood your character, and decided you are safe. Their openness is earned. Very few people are invited into that private emotional space. This is also why betrayal affects them deeply. If someone breaks their trust, it is not just a small mistake. It can permanently close a door. They may forgive, but they do not forget easily. This is not bitterness. It earns and protect their heart with care. They notice repeated behavior. They recognize small warning signs. They sense hidden intentions that many others completely miss. They remember these lessons, not to hurt anyone in return, but to protect themselves in the future. Every experience is stored carefully in their mind, not as a weapon, but as a guide. It becomes a map that helps them move wisely through relationships and life. This selectiveness does not make them cold. In fact, it shows emotional intelligence. They understand the value of their time, energy, and attention. They know that giving too much to the wrong person can drain their spirit. They understand that their emotions are valuable, and not every situation deserves access to them. Because of this, they invest deeply, but only where it truly matters. When they finally express their feelings, it means something. Their words are sincere. Their actions are intentional. Their presence is meaningful. They do not give small pieces of themselves to everyone. They have learned the cost of ignoring boundaries and trusting too quickly. So when they open their heart, it is a serious decision. Those who earn that trust receive something rare, a loyal, steady, and deeply respectful bond. They guard their hearts not because they are afraid of love, but because they understand its power. Their silence holds depth. Their selectiveness shows strategy. And for the few who are welcomed into their inner world, they offer their full heart. That kind of connection is strong and lasting, built on awareness, experience, and mutual respect. Now here is something important to understand: trauma-born loners can shake you at your core. Not with anger. Not with aggression. Not with loud behavior. They do it quietly. Their strength lies in truth. They see through masks and false confidence. When someone is pretending, they feel it. When someone is lying, they sense it. When someone feels insecure, they often notice immediately. This awareness did not come from books or school. It came from experience. When you have survived betrayal and disappointment, you develop a strong instinct for authenticity. You learn to read people without needing many words. You notice subtle expressions, body language, and changes in energy. You see contradictions between what someone says and what they actually do. Because of this, they can feel intimidating. Their calm confidence sometimes makes others uncomfortable. They do not need to dominate conversations or prove their worth. Their quiet self-sufficiency is enough. When someone is fully comfortable being alone and emotionally independent, it forces others to reflect on themselves. People may start asking silent questions: why do I need constant validation? Why am I afraid of being alone? Why does their silence make me uneasy? In this way, trauma-born loners become like mirrors. And mirrors can be uncomfortable because they show reality. They reveal insecurities and hidden fears. That is why some people react negatively toward them. They may criticize or misunderstand them. Not because the trauma-born loner has done anything wrong, but because their presence highlights unhealed parts in others. It is often easier to attack someone's quiet strength than to face personal weaknesses. But trauma-born loners rarely respond with anger. They do not need to prove themselves. Their power is calm and steady. Their ability to remain centered, even when others are emotional or chaotic, is what truly shakes people. They do not manipulate or control. They simply stand firm in who they are, and that quiet stability speaks louder than noise ever could. They do not need to manipulate or argue. Living in truth, quietly and fully, is enough to break illusions. Their presence alone can feel like a test. When someone spends time with a trauma-born loner, they may leave feeling slightly unsettled. Not because anything dramatic happened, but because something real was reflected back to them. In that silence, people often see their own fears, insecurities, and avoidance. And that reflection can be powerful. For someone willing to grow, it can even be life-changing. That is how they shake your core. Not with noise or drama, but with clarity. With authenticity. With steady confidence in their own worth and independence. They remind others that healing is possible. That strength does not have to be loud. And simply by being who they are, they challenge the people around them to look inward, whether they are ready or not. But let us be clear about something important. Trauma-born loners are not heartless. They are not cold machines moving through life without emotion. In many cases, they feel more deeply than most people. Their capacity for love, loyalty, and empathy is powerful. The reason they seem guarded is not because they lack feeling, it is because they understand the cost of giving their heart to the wrong person. Life taught them about betrayal, disappointment, and neglect. So they protect their heart carefully. Imagine a strong gate around something valuable. Only those who prove themselves trustworthy are allowed inside. They observe. They test consistency. They watch whether actions match words. They notice whether boundaries are respected. Trust, for them, is not automatic. It is earned. And when it is earned, it is given completely. If you show loyalty, honesty, and respect, you will experience something rare. Their support will be steady. Their commitment will be real. They do not make empty promises. They do not invest halfway. When they care deeply. They may not have a large circle of friends, but the people they choose are valued greatly. These relationships are strong because they are built on trust and depth, not popularity. They prefer quality over quantity. They are not interested in shallow connections or fake behavior. They seek honesty, integrity, and authenticity. If you are fortunate enough to earn their trust, you will feel unwavering support and genuine understanding. Their love is not loud, but it is powerful. It is steady and protective. So do not mistake their guarded nature for lack of emotion. They protect their heart because it is deep. Their loyalty is strong because it is chosen carefully. They are not heartless. They are intentional. They are loyal. They are deeply human. And that is a rare kind of strength. Now, if you are listening and you recognize yourself in this description, let me speak directly to you. If you are a trauma-born loner, do not feel ashamed. Do not think you are broken. You have survived emotional storms that many people would not understand. You endured pain alone. You adapted. You built strength quietly. Your strength may not always be visible to others, but it is real. It shows in your boundaries. It shows in your discipline. It shows in your ability to stand alone when necessary. That resilience is something to respect. But remember this as well, healing is not weakness. Independence is powerful, but allowing yourself to heal and connect in healthy ways is also strength. Being strong does not mean you must carry everything alone forever. Independence is powerful, but it is not the same as permanent isolation. Relying on yourself is strength. Living behind emotional walls forever is not. If fear continues to control your choices, your conversations, and your relationships, then growth is still waiting for you. Constant defense may feel safe, but safety is not the same as living fully. You are allowed to trust again. Slowly. Carefully. Wisely. You are allowed to open the door step by step without losing yourself. Your past shaped you, but it does not have to imprison you. The lessons you learned through pain are tools for wisdom, not walls for hiding. Use your awareness to recognize sincerity. Use your discipline to keep building your life with intention. Use your emotional strength to experience connection without losing balance. You have gained something rare, insight into human behavior, endurance through hardship, and deep self-reliance. These qualities are valuable. They protect you, but they also prepare you. Do not let fear decide your future. Fear of betrayal. Fear of disappointment. Fear of loneliness. Yes, those fears may still whisper to you. But you have already proven your resilience. You have survived difficult seasons. Fear is not weakness. It is a reminder to move carefully. But it should not control every decision or keep you locked away from life. Courage does not mean trusting blindly. It means taking thoughtful steps forward, even when the outcome is uncertain. It means believing in your ability to handle whatever comes next. You were not meant to live in survival mode forever. You were meant to grow. And growth requires risk. It requires connection. It requires stepping beyond the comfort of control and accepting that disappointment is sometimes part of the journey. Isolation may have helped you survive. But to truly live, you must allow openness, curiosity, and trust to return, without becoming naive. This is not weakness. It is courage. Especially for strong people, growth demands bravery. When you have built armor through discipline and awareness, it can feel easier to stay guarded. But true strength is not only about surviving pain. It is about using that strength to create a meaningful life. To connect. To build. To experience joy without fear dominating your choices. You have endured. You have adapted. You have built a powerful inner world. Now it is time to expand it. To welcome opportunity. To allow connection. To experience the depth of fulfillment you are capable of. You are not broken. You are not flawed. You are a survivor, a deep thinker, a quietly powerful presence. And your next chapter is not just about survival. It is about living, growing, thriving. So respect the quiet ones. Be mindful of trauma-born loners. Their silence is not weakness. Their distance is not emptiness. It is strength shaped by experience, depth formed through hardship, and power built in places most people never see. Their calm is not weakness. They have faced storms most people cannot even imagine, pain, chaos, and uncertainty without guidance, support, or validation. Anyone who survives alone, who endures the winds and waves without faltering, becomes a force in themselves. Their strength is quiet but undeniable, commanding respect without needing attention. If you disrespect them, they walk away without argument. If you betray them, they remember, not to punish, but to protect themselves with wisdom. If you try to control them, you will fail, because their independence is rooted in experience, awareness, and hard-earned life lessons. Yet if you approach them with respect, patience, and consistency, you may gain one of the most loyal and powerful allies you will ever have. Their connections are not casual, they are rare, strong, and unshakable. Their loyalty is fierce. Their support is steady. Their presence can transform those around them. And maybe, after hearing this, you realize something about yourself. Maybe you are not too quiet. Maybe you are not too distant. Maybe you are not too intense. Perhaps you were forged in fire, and fire creates strength. You have endured. You have observed. You have grown in ways others may never understand. This is Silver Narratives, where we grow stronger in mind and stronger in English. Your quiet power, your independence, and your resilience are not flaws, they are your greatest strengths. If this message resonates, watch it again. Some lessons are understood best in silence, when the words settle in your mind and the meaning reaches your soul. Respect your journey. Respect your strength. And most importantly, respect the quiet ones. They are not just survivors, they are forces of nature.